Hey, what's going on, warriors? Listen, if you guys are struggling with carbohydrates and having a fear of carbohydrates to the point where you're just so used to going low carb or no carb, but you want to start incorporating it, or maybe you just don't know how to get out of where you are in terms of not eating enough carbohydrates, and we know the importance of carbohydrates for more energy, more muscle building. It's just a lot easier on the body. Almost every organ in the body, or the body itself, prefers glucose as well. It's one of the reasons why your body can convert amino acids, fat, and lactic acid into sugar, glucose, through gluconeogenesis. If you want to learn how to start to incorporate more glucose or more carbohydrates into your diet so you can have absolute confidence with what you do, check this video out. Very simple strategy, simple stuff, and then more of a reminder that you can start to do to help make sure you're on the right track to incorporating more carbohydrates into your diet. If it's your first time on the channel, I help busy diabetics to burn body fat, build muscle, and manage their blood sugars overall. I also help in terms of bringing in some supplement ideas to help you take your workouts to the next level when it comes to muscle building, when it comes to fat burning, when it comes to managing your blood sugars. Today, that sounds good. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you guys hit that bell notification. I want to see you guys miss out on any of these. And make sure you hit that like button. Also helps me put these videos out there. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in here. As diabetics, there's a little bit of fear when it comes to bringing carbohydrates into our diet. And it's not your fault. You've been coached for a while now, since you were younger, to understand that you only can have a certain amount of carbohydrates with your meal. But let's be honest, when it comes to building muscle, when it comes to burning body fat, sometimes it's just not really in line with getting you the results that you want in terms of maximizing your muscle building, maximizing your fat burning. So then the question is, how do we start to incorporate more carbohydrates into our diet as diabetics without the fear of the roller coaster ride of going high and going low? So what you want to do is you want to start by doing this incrementally. There's no sense in you jumping in and increasing your carbohydrates by 100 to 200 if you don't know what your insulin to carb ratio is, or if you're uncertain. So one of the things you can do is, first of all, make sure you guys find that insulin to carb ratio. But I got a video on that. I'll put it down below so you guys can check that out with your insulin to carb ratio if you guys got to get back on track with that. The other thing though is, once you have that down pat with your insulin to carb ratio, but you're a little concerned about what's going to happen, you want to incrementally start increasing your carbohydrates by, let's say, 25 per day, right? Start there. Now you increase it by 25 per day, keep the same insulin to carb ratio. Do this in your waking hours. So you don't want to do it late at night before you go to sleep. For obvious reasons, we don't want you to wind up in a situation with a blood sugar low when you're sleeping. So make sure you do this in the middle of the day. Now you can go ahead, you have 25 grams of carbohydrates. That's literally a banana. So you could have a banana, give yourself the same amount of insulin for that. See how your blood sugar is by the end of the day. If that was easy, then incrementally start to increase that to 50. Maybe after a couple days, now you're increasing that to 50 grams of carbohydrates. Now you're at 50 grams of carbohydrates, that's 2 bananas or a cup of rice, right? So now you're gonna start to incorporate, now all of a sudden you're already incorporating more into your diet. Now the beauty about taking in more carbohydrates is, once you know what works, and this is why I always say, if you can't measure it, don't eat it, especially when it comes to bringing more carbohydrates into your diet. Because now that you know, okay, if I have a cup of rice, this same cup of rice, when I gave myself X amount of units for it, now you know you got that same cup of rice, boom, you know exactly how much units to give yourself. And you can always keep a log so that you know to start. So you can always flip your pages and you don't have to Google every time how much one cup of rice is, right? So you go ahead, now you know what works, so you can keep adding new things that work. Once after you had, maybe you're in the future and you've got like 5 to 10 new carbohydrates that work. On top of increasing the amount, now you can just be consistent with what you're doing over time to really help to give you that edge to start to incorporate those carbohydrates back into your lifestyle, back into your diet. But more than that, doing that with confidence. And it starts by doing it incrementally and being confident with the things that you add in, and then expanding on that. And before you know it, you would have increased your carbohydrates and had a lot more confidence, a lot less restriction, more liberation, and actually more gains and more energy when you're in the gym looking to build muscle and ramp your metabolism up to burn more body fat. Again, remember the importance of carbohydrates when we're training. I always talk about the glycolytic system is what we use, means the breakdown of glucose to use as energy in creating ATP. So if we don't have glucose on board, it makes it harder for us to maximize muscle building, makes it harder for us to maximize fat burning, and you might even just find that you're nosediving with your energy. You don't have enough energy to get the results that you're looking for.